How's everybody doing today? I know. It's Rudy at Alpha Investments. Got a nice relaxing video. Just want to have a good talk today. Hope everyone's being safe out there. And today we're going to talk about a couple products I don't really talk about too often. And one of those products is actually the Shadows over Innistrad Eldritch Moon era. It's kind of an awkward little era. Eldritch Moon's a very special set to me. So let's kind of, let me give you guys my perspective, shall we? So first things first, I started getting suspicious about a week ago when what year was this? When a lot of people, I started getting Patron message, 2016, yep, that's about right. So Eldritch Moon was the first product I ever sold on my Rudy's Costco Patreon, starting my YouTube channel back in 2016, about the end of 2016, about January, February of 2017. This was the very first product I decided to start my internet public reveal, I don't know, kind of reveal myself on YouTube and kind of start to kind of make a name for myself in Alpha Investments. Kind of came out of the hidden underground bunker closet, you know? And I remember when I first started offering Eldritch Moon for $79.99 shipped, it didn't sell real well. People just really weren't. Believe it or not, Shadows over Innistrad was kind of the hot go-to set with the vampires, the flip cards, the name Innistrad was so powerful coming on the backs of the original Innistrad. It was a really big deal. Eldritch Moon wasn't. Pretty much the hottest thing people loved about Eldritch was obviously Lily at the time, and a couple other obviously mythics, and you know who I'm talking about. Looking at you, big old monster Emrakuls and Lilies and. But I mean, it wasn't a time where everybody wanted collective brutality, which is, the best rare in the set pretty much at this point. Like we talk about all the time changes the perspective of Magic sets. And when Eldritch Moon, being the small set of the Shadows over Innistrad block, it didn't really sell worth a crap. It was a very low selling product. So for those of you who did watch my whiteboard video the other day, I don't even know if they did like a third, fourth print run or anything. I mean, it was a slow seller. And that was the early days of my YouTube channel with Patreon and everything, and I didn't even have a lot of patrons who were buying it. They were kind of like, it's a new product, I'm going to buy old stuff. And of course, that was the dawn of the Rudy shilling and dumping old stuff, mentality and negativity. That was where it all started. So Eldritch Moon, to kind of look back at it here, from 4 years ago in 2020, obviously, hindsight's 2020. And looking back, obviously, I knew something was up because in the last week, I started getting Patron messages. Two types of people asking. Number one, Rudy, are you willing to sell some of the Eldritch Moon boxes in your videos or background and things? Had about 6 or 7 patrons ask that. And that really caught my attention because, look, I'm going to be blunt with everybody. In the last probably 2 years, I've maybe had 0 to 1 person ask me about buying Eldritch Moon. How many Eldritch Moon box openings have you guys seen on my channel in the last couple of years? You see what I'm getting at here? There just simply was no demand or people weren't really excited about it. This was not a product that people were just going after. This was the typical, post Return to Ravnica, overprinted, garbage, new stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I knew something was happening. Then I got a $100 patron from a long time ago send me a message, said, Rudy, hope you're being safe. Just want to thank you again. I bought the 60 boxes max from you 2 months in a row of just Eldritch, so I still have 120 boxes of Eldritch Moon. And I was like, have you seen the price? And that's when I realized that, okay, somebody had either bought out or moved the market, or simply put, there's just not a lot of sealed boxes left to go around. And this isn't, this isn't really an era I follow real well. I don't do a lot of videos on this channel talking about the Shadows and the Eldritch era. By the way, this is a first print run original booster box. You can tell because of the Batman code on the back. It doesn't have the white sticker. It has what they call the stamp. So this is probably a made in Japan box, I'm assuming. I'm not sure here. But anyways, it was just it was a weird time to reflect back from 4 years ago to see how everything's unfolded. And to see how some people out there, they built large positions in Eldritch Moon. And even being a newly printed product to Oblivion, I mean, at this point in time, everyone, if you can find Eldritch Moon boxes for less than $200 a box, I mean, that's kind of a good price. That's kind of where we're at, which I know is funny because the cards in the set haven't gone up. Like, not really much of anything has changed or happened. Like, the single cards within the box, I mean, they're pretty much the same price. I would assume the expected value is going to be somewhere between, what, 70 and 100 bucks or something, if that. Let's say $70 expected value. But, you know, if you can find an English shipping and taxes out the door for, you know, $150, that's a good deal. You know, I mean, the last case of Eldritch Moon I bought was a couple months ago. And I remember paying like $110, $120 a box. And I was like, oh. And now I'm like, well, crap, what a deal that is. At, you know, $150 is a good deal as they're pushing $200 now. And of course, now obviously the next question it leads to is everyone saying, well, Rudy, do you think, you know, what do you think the ceiling is? How do you think the price movement, everything? I think as far as my personal position goes, I think I have about maybe 40 boxes of Eldritch Moon. Don't have a lot. I didn't keep a lot. I wasn't very bullish on Shadows or Elders. It was a sentimental product, but I didn't keep a lot because that was an era where everybody was focused on, you know, Khans of Tarkir or Battle for Zendikar. You know, why would you be buying Shadows or Eldritch when you can buy Khans for fetches, RTR Gatecrash for pennies on the dollar for $60, $70 back then that had Shocklands? Or would you buy the Kaladesh, BFZ, Oath, you know, Aether era and have lottery cards for long term? And then, of course, you had the, you know, Dragons and Fate Reforged with Ugin, which, of course, Fate Reforged was also another one of those products that stayed very cheap for years. Like, I remember just like 12 to 18 months ago, I saw Fate Reforged boxes for like stores dumping them for like $89 to $95 shipped on eBay. And that was just 12 months ago. And I was like, this is like a 5-6-year-old product. And Fate Reforged has 2 fetch lands per box from Khans. And these boxes are still $80, $90 a box. About $89.99 to $95. $90 to $95. And this was, of course, before taxes were added to e-commerce on eBay also. So people were buying these, but even then they kind of just sat on the market. Nobody really bought them, but a few people were buying them at, you know, and then using eBay codes and discounts, and they were getting these crazy deals. And even then, you know, I remember people asking me, Rudy, do you think I should do it? I said, look, you know, if you have the patience, if you're financially stable, Magic and all collectibles are a great piece of diversification with any other portfolio. I've told everybody that. You know, just like right now in the recession, everyone, if you are stable and you're going to make it through the swings of the 2020 Corona crash thing, if you're going to make it through there and you're going to be stable and come out the other side and everything's going to look okay, and, you know, investing and accumulating additional shares, if you can find bonds that are good at this point, you know, and then of course, you know, having liquid emergency cash, having your income still moving, and of course collectibles, whether you're into comics, coins, graded currencies, and, you know, whatever you're into, the Magic, Pokemons, Yu-Gi-Ohs, whatever, you know, it doesn't really matter what category of collectibles you like. It's just something that in a downward pressure time, it's always prudent to add to your positions if you can stay the course. You know, not everybody can. So I thought today, you know, this was just a really unexpected, weird thing. And it deserved a conversation of just, you know, I would have bought more than 30, 40, or not bought more. I would have held on to more than 30, 40 boxes from a long time ago. Because this was back in the day. Friendly reminder, everybody. Back in when I started 2016 on Patreon and YouTube, distributors were selling me these boxes for $74, $75 a box. And I could sell them for $79.99. And I could actually make 50 cents a box after shipping and fees. That was before Wizards did all the price increases. You know, what, 2 price increases? So now everybody's paying, you know, a nasty 77 to 86 price range. Yeah, different time. So it was funny because, you know, even back then I was like, wow, you know, I didn't buy, I didn't sit on them because, again, even I was negative on the long-term outlook of Eldritch Moon. I just didn't think there was going to be a really bright future because I was like, why would I buy Eldritch Moon? Why don't I buy a lottery set or a set with a strong, you know, land base with, you know, shocks or fetches? And, you know, here we are, and yeah, I think it's going to continue to go higher, but it's going to take a long time. Just like this took 5 years, I think the next 5 years, it'll probably just slowly continue to move on for people who are patient. And that's it. That's all I really have to say. Just kind of a weird thing.